Yo, what's good? It's your boy Peak, and I'm back in this bit with another video. So I have not been posting a lot. I apologize. I just got back my second phone because I stole it from my mom because she took it. But yeah, so today I will be doing the long-awaited series, I could say, which is Deku. It's gonna be a one-shot video. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you guys for 272 subscribers. Yeah, but thank you and safe.
Left me for somebody else. Now I left me for somebody.
Shut up, I'm on the phone with Rodney.
So we start this off with a young Izuku. He's around 12 years old, and this will be purely based on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales. Yeah, because that's my favorite Spider-Man. So yeah, let me continue. Now, Izuku would have been, a very impressionable person, and he made a lot of friends in his neighborhood, and he would be a pretty good guy. Everyone would love him in his neighborhood. His dad was a cop who went around stopping crime, well, sort of helping the heroes that were around at the time. Now, this society is a society of heroes and villains, and most of the time the heroes win. And Izuku admired these heroes. They were his inspiration. They were literally what he wanted to be when he was older. But his dad wasn't really fond of heroes, as there was no need for people like him, policemen, to do the job that they were doing if there were heroes. But his dad did it anyways. Now, we will skip forward to Izuku in middle school. Now, Izuku would have been hanging out with his uncle, and his uncle would have been Hirikoto. Now, Hirikoto was an artist. He loved art. He was pretty mischievous as well. And, well, he lived life. He was free. He wasn't bound by anything. He liked to chill here and there. And that was Izuku's main influence. Now we go to Izuku going to his uncle's house. Hey, Uncle Hiroko, are you in the house? As Izuku would continue knocking, trying to get the attention of his uncle. As his uncle would open the door, and Izuku would come in. Ah, Izuku, how's it going? Well, it's alright. Been chilling at school here and there. not doing anything special. You know, just learning. I've got pretty good grades, but that's good. Well, I want you to do better than what I'm doing. But uncle, your lifestyle just feels so different, like easygoing. You follow what I'm saying? As Hiroko would agree, and they will continue talking until Izuku's dad would call. Izuku, you need to get right now. We have some stuff to discuss. Oh my days, Izuku would say, as he would tell Uncle Hiroko goodbye, and Izuku would head out. Now, as he would reach home, Izuku would meet his father. So Izuku, where have you been? I was at Uncle Hiroko's house. Again? What did I tell you about going there without my permission? Dad, does it really matter? He's literally my uncle. What's the problem? Teenagers. As Izuku would go inside and go upstairs to his room. Now Izuku would be listening to music until his dad would burst open in his room and tell him to come downstairs. As Izuku would head downstairs, and he would see his mum and his dad in the living room waiting for him. Now they would go sit down and would have a discussion. Well, Izuku, Inko would say, we need to discuss what school you're planning to go to. As Midori would say, well, I'll go to an engineering high school. Engineering, huh? As Izuku would say, yeah, engineering and science technology. As Inko would say, well, you better get to studying. As Izuku would head out and go to the school and would head out to the living room and go upstairs to his room. Now, Izuku was quirkless, being the downfall of his family. Well, as people would call him. He would often be bullied by other people. He would often be bullied by other people, but he still had a lot of friends, as he was a very interactive guy and made friends very quickly and easily. So Izuku wouldn't be bothered as much, but he still would be frequently bullied. Now, Izuku always wanted to be a hero, but because he had no quirk, it just wasn't possible for him. So he gave up on that dream and decided to become a computer science technician or an engineer, and would go to a school called UFC. Now Izuku would be studying in his room when he's told that he would have to do an entrance exam for his college, well, that he wanted to go to. As Izuku would say, oh, alright. Now the next day, Izuku would be going to school, and on this particular day, it was the last day of school. Now Izuku was gassed. He was very happy, as he would say, oh my goodness, I finally don't have to come back to this school. I will miss it though. As Izuku would head in, sit on a seat and wait for the teacher to come, as he would talk to his friend in front of him. So bro, did you hear about, or do you know what school you're trying to go to? Well, no shit, bro, I'm attending to UA. As Izuku would say, of course. That makes perfect sense. So, Izuku, where you going? USC. Oh, that science, technology, and engineering school, huh? Izuku would say, yeah. It's tough, man. I know you would have been a great hero. As Izuku would say, yeah, maybe. It's alright though. Now the teacher would enter in the class and it would end up being a usual day until after lunch. Now after lunch, they would head back to their form class, as it would be their last day. As the form class would be their last class of the day, and they would throw a party for everyone. And they were chilling at the party, listening to music, eating food that the school delivered, and they were enjoying themselves. And the teacher suddenly stopped the party and said, well, before you guys leave, I need you guys to write out your CVs to what school you want to go to. There's a class would groan and they would say, but we were literally just chilling. We're having fun. As the teacher would say, I know guys, but I'm afraid you're going to have to write up your CVs to enter your colleges. As they would groan again, they would sigh, and then the teacher would say, just kidding, I know most of you guys want to go UA. As everyone would just like, yeah bruv, yeah, we're going UA. As the teacher would go to Izuku's desk and hand him a paper, which he would actually have to write his CV to which college he wants to go. Now, Izuku would write it up and he would get ready to go to that, and he would get ready to leave because class would be ending soon. Now after the class ended, Izuku would head out, go to the shops, buy a few things for himself to eat, and would head over to his uncle's house. Now, Izuku went in the house and his uncle wasn't there. So Izuku stayed there for a little while, and in the end he went back home. Now Izuku would go home and start to watch the television. I would see Spiderman. So, I'm buzzing. He would see heroes, having a fight with villains on live national TV. As Izuku would just be taking notes, bro, just like literal notes, writing down everything rapidly, assessing the quirks, and he would be enjoying himself. And his parents would come home and they would eat dinner as a family. Now we'll skip the next few weeks, and to be specific, that would be 3 weeks, as it would be the first day for Izuku to enter his new school and do his entrance exam. Now Izuku would be in a rush after listening to music in his room, chilling. Used to say I keep on check, just a bad nevertheless. Calling it quiz now, baby, I'm wreck. Crash at my place, baby, I'm wreck. Yeah, I can't sing anymore, but yeah. Izuku would be listening to music be writing comic stickers in his book, as he had a thing for graffiti and he liked art as well, just like his uncle. As Izuku's dad and mom would burst into his room and tell him, "Izuku, you got to go, hurry, hurry." As Izuku would be saying, coming, as he would start packing up all of his stuff, run to the bathroom, have a shower, come back, change, and would get ready. As Izuku would hop in his new school uniform, but would whip on his favorite shoes, which would be, right, I'm not saying he's wearing them Uggs that he always wears in the show. The show, I'm gonna say he wears let's go with Jordan 1's Jordan 1 mids. So he would be wearing the mids, but just like Miles Morales, he'll always have his shoelaces undone as a choice. That's why he does that in the anime as well. And that's crazy. Yeah. As Izuku would head out, and he would say bye to his mum and his dad while having a piece of toast in his mouth, and would walk out. Now he would still be listening to his music, running down the roads, throwing up graffiti stickers on the walls, and would be running to school when his dad would come around the corner and spot Izuku putting a graffiti sticker up. As he would beep at him, and Izuku would turn around, and seeing the cop car, he would sigh heavily. Now, we skip to Izuku in his dad's car, and his dad would be taking him to school. See, Izuku, this is why you can't be trusted. Now I have to make you take off all those graffiti stickers off the wall. As Izuku would sigh, yeah, I understand. As Izuku would head out of the car, as they would have arrived at the school. Now this school would have been called UFC. Actually, personally, I don't like that, so I might change it. I will be calling it Visionary Heights. So it's like Vision, but I think, yeah, we're just gonna call it Visionary Heights. As, sorry for the background noise. As Izuku would go inside the school quickly, and his dad would leave. Now Izuku would be walking through the corridors, and he would just be soaking in his new environment. The school was pretty nice, pretty decent, and he would just like how nice it looked, even though most people wouldn't be attending the school, as they most likely had quirks. So there wasn't a lot of people attending this school. As Izuku would walk to the principal's office, and the principal would get a guide to show him around the school. As they would find his locker, and he would put in his bags and his books, and they would show him around the school. And he would go back to the head teacher's office and get a timetable for where his classes would be, and would attend to his first class. Now, Izuku would be kind of late, but he would have said, well, I mean, I'm pretty new here, so I didn't know which rooms to go to. As the teacher would say, that's understandable, and he would sit down. Now he would be sitting next to this girl, and this girl would be, well, fairly pretty. She would have Sorry, excuse me. I just yawned. She would have, black brunette hair, and she would have like eyelashes on and lip gloss and not a lot of stuff, but she was pretty, and Izuku would have taken an interest in her and would stare at her. As she would see Izuku staring at her and would say, "Oh, hey." As Izuku would say, "Oh, hey." Actually, sorry, I need to change the script real quick. My bad. If you find this annoying, I'm sorry. I should have proofread it, but it's alright. So, yeah, this girl has pink hair, and she seems kind of nerdy and has like glasses and weird pattern shaped eyes. Now, Izuku would be interested in her, and her seeing Izuku staring at her and would say, "Hey, are you alright?" As Izuku would say, "Yeah, I'm perfectly fine." As Izuku would say, "I'm Izuku Midoriya." And she would say, "I'm Hatsumi Mei." Now they would greet each other, and you know what? We'll skip to the end of the day. Now Izuku would head out and go to his uncle's house. "Uncle Hiroko, you there?" As Hiroko would open the door and let Izuku in. Now Izuku would go throw himself on the couch, and his uncle would say, "You stressed?" As Izuku would say, "Yeah, it was a long day of school." As Hiroko would say, "Well, is there any girls you're interested in?" As Izuku would say, "Not really." As Hiroko would say, "Come on, you serious?" As Izuku would say, "Yeah, well, there's this one girl, her name's Mei Hatsumi, and I find her fairly pretty." As Hiroko would say, "Alright, well, I'll give you a technique that you can, pull her easily." As Izuku would request for this technique, and Hiroko would give it to him. And now Hiroko would say, "Well, come, I've got someone to show you." As they would head out, go over to the train station, but this train station would be abandoned. Cause remember, we're still in Japan. I'm sure Japan doesn't have back roads like in America does in a station. The Japan stations look hella clean, let me not cap. But yeah. Now Izuku would follow his uncle to this abandoned station, and they would carry spray paint bottles and they would graffiti the walls. Now we see a spider that falls directly down on Izuku, and this is when Izuku just finishes his art, his graffiti, and the spider bites him. Now the spider bites him, and Izuku just slaps it off his hand, and him and his uncle leave. Now Izuku would go back to school the next day and would see Mei, and he would try to use a technique on her, and something entirely weird just happens. As his hand starts sticking to her shoulder as May says, "Hey, you alright?" As Izuku say, yeah, I just can't seem to move my hand." As May would try to lay off Izuku's hand and it wouldn't work, and so they would have to go to the medical ward and they would like cut off some of May's shirt around the shoulder part, to be specific, so that they could remove Izuku's hand. Now Izuku would be weirded out, thinking, do I have a quirk? As he would tell his parents about what happened. Well, his mom, to be specific. And his mom would say, "Well, I'm not sure, Izuku. They said it's impossible to get quirk around your age." So Izuku would completely forget about that thought and would go on with his daily life. Now, we go to a day when Izuku goes back to visit the train station and would see to go to see his art, and he would decide to travel down a bit more, and he would see Spiderman and Green Goblin. Now, Izuku would be absolutely confused. He would be wondering, like, what the flip is going on? But he wouldn't question it and just like watch this amazing fight. As suddenly, Green Goblin would throw something in Izuku's direction, but he still wouldn't notice that he was there, so Izuku would run and he would start sticking to a wall, as Izuku, not realizing, would continue, and in his tension would keep going and going until he realized that he's sticking in a wall. I would be horrified, but wouldn't scream to not attract attention. As Izuku would, fall, like he would just stop tensing his muscles and would like kind of fall, but he would do like a perfect landing. He would do a perfect landing on, like, I don't know it looks like a ladder of some sort, but I'm not sure it's a ladder. As he would perfectly land on the ladder, being surprised that he thought he would have hurt himself. As Izuku would be wondering, am I like sort of invincible or not? As Izuku would continue watching the fight, as he would see Green Goblin throw something again, and this time it hits the ladder Izuku's on. Now Izuku starts falling and he would scream, and Spiderman would hear it and catch him and would, set him up on another ladder. And Spiderman would say, "Kid, what are you doing here?" As well, Izuku and Spiderman wouldn't understand each other, since Izuku's Japanese and Spiderman's American. And I forgot to explain that Spiderman is here because he was asked to come here by the Japanese government, and the American government let him. So that's why That's why Spider-Man's over there. So it makes sense. So Izuku would say, well, in Japanese, Spider-Man, I'm like your biggest fan. As all Spider-Man would hear is Japanese, but then they would feel like connected, like that little tingly feeling. And Spider-Man would say, there's another one of me? As Izuku would say, you're just like me, but in Japanese. As Spider-Man would tell him, well, kid, you can't really understand each other, but you know, that's pretty cool. I never knew there was another one of me. But if you don't mind, please stay right here so that I can go fight that green gooey monster. As Izuku would just sit there, not understanding jack, but reminiscing that he actually just met Spider-Man. So Izuku would be chilling after that, you know, sitting down watching a fight. And Spider-Man is then suddenly punched through a good few amount of cartons, but would get back up. As they would exchange some hand-to-hand combat, as Green Goblin would throw a fat punch aiming for Spider-Man's ribs. Spider-Man grab his arm, counter-attack, flip him over, kick him in his chin, and this would send Green Goblin flying. But Green Goblin would regain his steadiness, use his wings, and would literally just speed at Spider-Man. But Spider-Man would use his webs, jump up, and literally use the force to go back down. I would literally stomp on Green Goblin's head, as he would send Green Goblin to the ground, basically injuring Green Goblin really badly. Now this would be getting Green Goblin pissed, as he would now just he would now just get up and I lost where I was. Yeah. As he would now just get up and come back for Spider-Man. And Spider-Man would do a couple of flips and just to gain some distance would run and use his webs and shoot it in Green Goblin's eyes and would fly kick him on some karate shit and would send Green Goblin flying. Now you go to Kingpin starting up the reactor, when suddenly Green Goblin literally flies in there, just crushing the I forgot what it's called, the spiral thing in the movie that helped with teleportation. But yeah, it would literally fly into it and it would break, as Kingpin would get pissed and literally smash the building he was in because of how pissed he was. Now Kingpin's quirk is super strength. Oh, and Green Goblin's quirk is flight and super strength. So I know you're hearing the difference in the audio, bro. My mic just came in early, so yeah. Now, since they crashed the glider and Green Goblin was thrown into the glider, Kingpin broke the building, as I said before, and Kingpin would literally, okay, I'm saying literally so much, but yeah, Kingpin would come out of the building that was broken down, and he would have headed out, you know, on a hunt for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man just ruined his plans. So Kingpin went down, flipping punch Green Goblin, told him that you destroyed my glider. As Green Goblin would like apologize, and Kingpin would say, follow me. As he would follow Kingpin, and Spider-Man would come to attack Green Goblin, but Kingpin jumped, punched him in his face, and sent him into a pile of garbage. Oh, this is all inside a building near the place, yeah, near under the train station. As Spider-Man would start coughing up blood. Now Izuku would hop down there, and he would like have a look in his eye that would say, are you alright? But he would have said, are you alright, in Japanese. As Izuku would have said, yeah, as Spider-Man would have said, yeah, I'm alright, kid. But kid, here, please take this. This will destroy that glider thing, because that thing can destroy everything. Izuku, not understanding, would still take the metal glider thing. He would take the USB stick, which handled data that would be able to destroy the glider. And Izuku would have ran off, seeing as Kingpin, Green Goblin would have come. And Izuku's uncle would have popped in. I forgot who that villain is in the story, who's Miles's uncle. I'll have to research that. But yeah, he would be there too. Now, Kingpin would pull off Spider-Man's mask, as Izuku would have seen who Spider-Man is now. And so would Kingpin and Green Goblin and Izuku's uncle. And they would be shocked. As, you know, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, would have said, alright, nah, okay, you can't do that. That's my mask. As Kingpin would say, shut up, right? You destroyed everything. You've taken everything away from me. I will not have it. I will kill you. As he would lift up his arms in a knot and directly smash Spider-Man right in his chest, in the middle of his chest, crushing his ribs in, which would encave his heart and would stab it. As Spider-Man would die. Now, the news would hear about the shocking death of Spider-Man. As everyone in America would be mourning, fans all over the continent would be mourning. People everywhere who supported Spider-Man would be mourning, as their favorite hero had died. The world would be in shock that a young hero was taken too early, and he was one of the top heroes. The US government would honestly be pressed, because they sent one of their top hero to the second top hero to Japan, and he died there. Now I'm just going to say that I've just made a whole bunch of plot holes in my writing, and I realized that I never talked about how Kingpin and Green Goblin and them, and yeah, so Kingpin came to Japan because he thought it was easier to set up what he wanted to set up here, and Green Goblin and them and followed him. Okay, so that's how Kingpin got there. Now Izuku would be down, as one of his favorite heroes died. As Izuku would feel a sense of responsibility that he had to carry on. Now, Izuku would have Izuku would have been a few weeks away from entering UA for the exam. Now, Izuku decided that, you know what, since Spiderman died, I've got to get stronger. I've got to man up and become the new Spiderman. So, I'm not really going to go fully on the path. Izuku's still going to go UA, and yeah. Now, Izuku would enter UA for the entrance exam. He would do well, punching robots and swinging around. Well, not swinging around, but running super fast, punching them, jumping off buildings, and trying to secretly hide his webs. As he would do a good amount and would have been fourth on the test. Now, that's the end of the UA entrance exam. So, because I feel like I'm rushing this, I will be making another part, so it'll be like a 2-part movie, if that's fine with you guys. I'm not sure when I'll post the next part. It's entirely up on you guys. But yeah, as Izuku would have done pretty well. Oh, now let's go back a bit to when Izuku started training. Izuku would tell his mom that he's heading out and would go to the nearest beach, which was cluttered, as he would decide that, cool, I've had enough of being weak. I've just seen my favorite hero die in front of my eyes. I've got to become stronger. As Izuku would start lifting up these garbages and compressing them together to help with the strength. And he would use his webs to swing them onto a trailer, like, it's a thing that carries garbage. We have this in the UK, but when people are building houses, they put the waste and stuff in there. So Izuku would have like one of those, and he would put all the garbage, compressed garbage, in there, and he would keep on doing this and doing this. He would run around the beach, for a few hours, and would go in the water, have a little swim, and then he'll come back out and train. As this would be constant, as he would keep doing this, practicing his web swings. And so I forgot to say something, but Izuku's webs, he has real webs, so he can still shoot it from his palm. He doesn't need a gadget, but he does need a gadget. So let me tell you why he doesn't need a gadget. So for small spaces, like from a few miles, so say he can literally just grab that. But if he wants to get far and swing and stuff, he has to have the gadget. So Izuku would be trying to strengthen his own spider webs, as he would use that and keep on training and until the exam came. So since we already covered the exam, we will go on to the next few weeks. Now, over the weeks past the exam, Izuku would still be training and be on a diet. And by the end of it, he would have cleaned up the beach. Now, Izuku would have been happy, would have been like, I finally cleaned up the beach. It was a long piece of work, but it looks so pretty. As Izuku would head home, being exhausted for the day, and would go to bed. Now we will skip till the first day of UA. So just to tell you guys, this is a whole different mic that I bought. So I bought two just in case. One was shit, and it kinda was because I checked the audio again. So I'm using the other one, and this one's way better. But yeah. Now, Izuku would swing his way to school, but he would have done it in secret so that he wouldn't get caught. So he would be swinging through alleyways, and when he wasn't swinging through alleyways, he would run and would go back to swinging through alleyways and from building to building. He would finally reach at the entrance of the school and would go in. As Izuku would go in, he would just be mesmerized at how big the school was. Damn, this school is humongous. Izuku would head in, and you'd see a big fat door called Class 1A. Now Izuku would say, wow, never knew I would find it this fast. Such a big place. Izuku would go in and would immediately sense Aizawa. As you would see Aizawa there, would go sit down and remain silent. Now, as more people started flooding into the class, it got noisier and noisier. But Izuku still remained silent, and Aizawa finally woke up and said, "Oh, alright you brats, be quiet. Hello, my name is Shoka Aizawa. I'm your new form teacher. So, have some respect. I don't need to hear you guys screaming and shouting in the classroom. If anything, I need you guys to shut up. Now, everyone, go to the changing rooms, get dressed, come to the playground, and we'll do a sports test, and we'll do a physical quirk test." As the class would be like, what? No introductions? As Aizawa would say, you could do that in your own time. Alright, chop, get to it. They would head out, go change, and meet Aizawa in the playground. Now, Aizawa would call up Shoto Todoroki and would say, "Alright Shoto, since you got the highest on the test, I would like you to go first and throw this ball." As Shoto would throw the ball using his quirk, as he would use the ice. Actually, no, he would use the fire and throw it in the air, and the wind particles would help and just light the fire up a bit more, and this would help the ball go further. As you know, Shoto would get a decent score, not the best, and as I would say, alright, so that's the example. and I'm going to need everyone here to try this out. As the class would say, wow, it seems pretty easy, let me not kill. Especially Mina. And Aizawa then suddenly turned serious. You think this is easy, huh? Last person in the test is going home. As the class would then get solid serious. As everyone would do their turn, Bakugo, throw the ball, got roughly the same, maybe a little bit more. As Izuku, throw the ball with all his might, and would have got the same score he got in canon, seeing as part of Spider Quirk is having super strength, as far as I'm concerned. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But yeah, as Izuku would have got far, and he would have been happy, he would have been excited. Damn, I never knew I was that strong. As he would get the highest on this exam. Now they would do all the other exams, the running, jumping, and the side to side steps. As Izuku would aced most of them, so he was definitely not last. He was more like third or fourth, because he wasn't trying to go all out, because he thought he would be drawing too much attention to himself. Now some of his classmates would ask what his quirk was. As Izuku would say, well, it's a mixture of lots of quirks, but I prefer to keep it a secret for now, as some other people in his class would accept his wish and would leave him alone. Now, they all go back to class after they've changed and would have a normal day at school. As Izuku would have gone and gone to the rookery, whatever they called it in the anime, to get some food, and he would have enjoyed himself. Suddenly, there would just be glitching, as houses, the school, parts of everywhere would start glitching. As Izuku would realize, I don't have time to stay in the school before Kingpin does what he has to. As suddenly the reactor starts going up and up and up and up until all of the lights blank out, but it's still bright because it's not night time. But all the lights in Japan would blank out as Izuku would run. He would literally run out the corridor, as everyone would be stuck in a corridor. He would have to use his webs, as well, he had to get out there easily as possible. He would use his webs and let his way out and run. He would run to where the train station was. You know, go through the path he went through before, jumped over, past the spot where he did his art, and he would see the reactor going off. And suddenly, multiple people just started rolling out the verts, what's it called again? The reactor, and they were all Spiderman. well, there was one Spider-Woman, but they were literally all Spider-Man. As Izuku would be so confused, as they would all run for safety, as the reactor would just turn off, as Kingpin would be like, damn it, what happened this time? Why isn't it working? As Dr. Ock would tell him, alright Kingpin, calm down. We'll have to fix it up and we'll try again. As Kingpin would say, you better fix my reactor. As she would say, our reactor. As Kingpin would head out, being extremely aggravated, pissed. And the Spider-Man would run through the place to the place where Izuku was. As suddenly they would all look at each other and realize that they're all Spider-Man? Well, Spider-Woman. Nah, actually there was 2 Spider-Women. Let me not cap. Excuse me. As Izuku would walk up to them and say, you're Spider-Man? In Japanese. As 2 of them were Japanese, one of them was American, which was Gwen, and the other one was from the UK. Yeah. As the American and the UK, well, as the American Spider-Man, the American Spider-Woman, which was Gwen, and the American Spider-Man, which was Peter B. Parker. And the British Spider-Man, which Peter B. Parker, would understand each other. As they would be talking, saying, you're just like me. But when were there so many Spider people? As Gwen would say, exactly. I never knew there was so much Spider people. As, you know, the Japanese people would ask, hey, you're just like me, aren't you? To Izuku. As Izuku would say, well, yeah. Where are you guys from? As they would say, well, we must be from Japan, in a different multiverse. As Izuku would understand, and he would realize that the reactor jumps multiverses. As he would try and guess what the hell Kingpin was doing, and why he wanted to go back in time. As Izuku would start getting aggravated, he didn't know what to do. So he would tell the Japanese spider or people, telling them, I've got this USB stick that destroys the reactor, but I don't know what to do, and I was gonna ask if I could get your help. As they would agree, saying that they wanted to go back home, but suddenly they all started to glitch. As Izuku would ask the Japanese ones what was going on, as they would say, we don't know either. But Izuku would then realize that they were glitching because they were out of their dimension. Now Izuku would tell the Japanese the Japanese Spider-Man that well, they're glitching because they're out of their multiverse. As they would be shocked. Now, I'm gonna retrace that back and say that one of the Japanese Spider-Men speak to the American Spider-Man and the British Spider-Man. As he would tell them that, well, it seems we're glitching because we're out of the multiverse. As they would start to understand that they need to go home quickly or else they will disintegrate. As now Izuku would realize that he has to do something, or else these other Spider-Men that need to protect their world will die. So Izuku would tell them that he'll bring them to someone Peter Parker told him to go to. As they would go to Aunt May, but this time I'ma call her I'm not sure if I should I wrote something here in the script. Yeah, so I'm sticking. Sorry. As Aunt Hirata. It's basically it's very similar to Hinata. Well, yeah, let's just call it Hinata. Sorry, I never wrote that in my script, so I apologize. Yeah, so they would go to Auntie Hinata and she would help them with their spider gear. As Izuku would be simply ecstatic, as he would find a Spider-Man fit and would customize it, as this would be his hero costume. Now Izuku would have went back home, as his mom and his dad would be worried, seeing as Izuku came home late and there was a report that he left the school. Now they would ask Izuku why he left the school, as Izuku would say, well, I got pretty frightened, so I ran, left the school and looked for shelter. As his parents would understand and they would let him go. As Izuku would go to his room and he would have just been thinking, what can I do? How can I get these people home? I barely know anything. And thinking on that, Izuku would go to bed. Now we go to the next day, where Izuku would have gone back to school, as his classmates would have asked him where he went. As Izuku would say, well, I don't really have an excuse for that. As, you know, they would just think he bunked and left him alone. As Izuku would have just been in class, just listening to what Aizawa was talking about, which was maths. So, estimation is when you estimate something which is not the exact answer. So, it can be done with a calculator, and you can estimate the answer, or you can round up all the numbers and estimate what the answer will be. As the class would be writing down notes, and estimation was the first thing that came to my head. As they would be listening
following diligently, and they would just be in class and they would just be listening as Izuku would sense something, and suddenly a villain flies and breaks a wall in the school. As this villain would literally just come out of nowhere, as he would punch a wall in the school, and they would hear several more cracks in the walls as a few more villains broke into the other classes, and they would start to attack the teachers, as Aizawa would tell them to get back and to not engage in combat, as the other classes would be having the same experience. Aizawa would have tried to disable the quirk, but it didn't look like it was working. As Izuku saw some signs, when he saw Kingpin, he noticed that he had an end signal on his ring. As you know, he would realize that they were from Kingpin's organization.